getting darker and darker, and there's just no way right now for these drivers to know exactly what's going to happen.
These guys are going to have to be really, really careful and tiptoe around the track until it's either stopped.
Not even 10 minutes into this race, and I feel like we've got enough strategy going on for a whole event, but still a long, long way to go.
There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, but for racing fans and for Grid Life's Elkhart Classic, the destination is Road America, the National Park of Speed.
Rewind to the front of the field here. Look at Emil Tab up the inside for the race lead. We head down to the first corner.
And these guys have no idea what they're coming into. Look at this field. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, a couple places slipping.
Side by side for the race lead, 54, 48 through 3 and 4, working lap number 60, 110 laps to go. Yusuf Ghali, power move to the bottom of the racetrack, making the short way work. They're going to touch down the hill.
This will be a great run for Fuller here.
Yes, if we go right off the track in the final quarter, that'll allow Fuller to get a massive.
Here he comes.
Does he have a look?
Oh, big block here by Sanfilippo. Into the grass goes Ben Fuller through turn 1, and Sanfilippo hangs on. He's loose. No! And he crashes hard in the exit of turn number 2. Don't try him here, boys. They're going to do it. Gritsko backs out. They touch. They're going to crash. Gritsko going to slam the attenuator hard into the wall, and Tarantessa hits him as well. And big damage on these cars. That's a huge.
Number 4, people are struggling for grip, going out of every single lane, maybe trying to then run. It's getting really insane.
Powered by AWS for the Intercontinental GT Challenge, powered by Pirelli at the Indianapolis 8-hour. We are 7 hours and 18 minutes into this 8-hour event.
John Miller way deep on the brakes to the inside of turn number 1 and 2. The spin, the 3 car gets turned around in front of the car.
James Houghton looking for a place to go, but he's got Austin Cobb to the inside. Bit of a gap behind. I think that's about 15 or 16 spot as they come out of turn 3. Big slide for this.
Getting a run. He's got it. Going to be a drag racing line. Final corner. Checkered flag waving. Here they come. At Virginia National Raceway. To the line. Thompson, Darling, door to door. Banging doors. Fender to fender. I can't believe what we just saw.
With only 6 rounds remaining in the 2020 season, the Outsider Racing League takes on a NASCAR Classic. Talladega Superspeedway, the 2 2/3 mile, huge oval that freaks out drivers and teams from all over the country as they take on 4 wide racing around one of the fastest racetracks in the country. Welcome to Sim TV. My name's Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn tonight for the first round of the Outsider Racing League Chase, the playoffs. We're going to narrow it down to 12 and then run all the way to the end of this season, which will happen at Atlanta on January 16th, and we'll declare a champion. But now comes the process of eliminating mathematically one by one these drivers until we get down to 1. Connor, Talladega, a great place to start.
Oh, it's a great place to start, and it's also a wild place to start. This could make or break your season. You think one incident is going to set you back a lot. When it comes to a track like Talladega, you're going to be very lucky to avoid any sort of incidents. This is just a race of survival today for all 12 of these chase drivers. It's going to be crazy to see if we see a lot of them racing for the win at the front most of the time, and see how many of them want to just relax at the back.
So with a couple minutes left here in qualifying, we're going to take you down to the racetrack and show you who is on course and who is making laps at the moment. The driver at the top of the board is Eric Hutton. You'll notice some coloration changes on the timing and scoring here this week. The drivers with the silver numbers are the drivers that are not in the chase. The ones with the gold numbers are in the chase, and they are denoted as well by gold splitters and spoilers. So the front and rear are colored gold the same way as they are on the ticker to keep everything nice and straight. So the racing at Talladega here, Connor, it's never simple, but it's gotten even more complex lately with the aerodynamic changes that these cars have seen and the lack of the restrictor plates. These cars draft so much differently than they used to. How do drivers harness that energy and move it forward and able to win a race here at Dega?
You just have to time it absolutely perfectly. You have to be safe out there. I know it's hard to be safe at a track like Talladega, but you have to be on your toes pretty much all the way around the track. You get big runs in these cars. If you're way behind one car and a car gets out of a draft and doesn't have a push, you have a huge run on them. And you have to make a split decision whether you're going to go to the outside of them or maybe lift and push them. That's why we see a lot of checkups happening. The checkup on the bottom lane is going to be very bad tonight. We're going to see that become a problem every now and then. Even on the top line, the checkups are bad. You might see wrecks because the drivers don't get the memo that they have to. They're stacking up. It's really going to be interesting to see how they're able to navigate through this because you're going to see big runs happening tonight.
There's Liam Sheen running tonight in the number 55 Ford Mustang, currently 14th on the timing and scoring. 17 drivers have put in lap times. Jeff Wright jumps to the top of the board. In the past was a championship contender. Lately this season, he's kind of picked it back up after sort of a lame duck season the last couple times around. You'll notice the Lawn Tech paint scheme, and because this is the Lawn Tech 250 here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway, and there is a whole bunch more where that came from. Connor, there's 3 or 4 cars. Maybe, I think there might even be 5 that are all with Lawn Tech liveries this evening.
Yeah, Hutton is, Cabot has one, the 48 has one, the 24 has one. There's at least 4. There's probably more to count, but yeah, they're all out for this tonight. They're barely colored differently, so I hope we're able to tell who's who. I know one deviation's different. Bailey Turner, I believe, has the green numbers on for the Dash for Cash. I think 1 of 5 going for that tonight, so we'll see if the racing amps up around those 5 drivers.
So 28 seconds remaining here in qualifying, and a handful of drivers didn't qualify, and normally I'd say that's a bad strategy, but here at Talladega, it might be a good strategy to hang back and keep yourself out of trouble. And the races here, Connor, they tend to be pretty high energy from start to finish with a lull in the middle, and that middle part is where you can go up and lead laps and really not feel like you've got that much pressure on you. But at the beginning and the end, that's where the chance for crashes and that's where the chance for collisions seem to happen.
Yeah, we see a lot of crashes early on in these races because a lot of drivers aren't used to racing at a super speedway. You only do it a few times in a league, a few times in the official series, so it's not like you're running a super speedway every single week unless you're running a league like that. You got a lot of drivers just the first few laps trying to feel out the car and what you can do and what you can't. You have to really make sure you know the limitations of your car, and if you go over those limitations, you might be the one causing the big one.
And just a fair warning, this is a kind of a big evening for me here at SimTV. This is actually the first night that I'm actually streaming from my new apartment in Chicago. Kind of born and raised in Rochester, New York, and the majority of SimTV streams have been from Binghamton, where I went to school, but have since moved to Chicago. And this is my first time on fiber internet streaming a race, so it should be good, but let me know if there's any, especially audio issues. I know I've had to change my audio setup here to accommodate iRacing just a little bit. And also if the stream drops, this is basically a test here tonight. So we're going to see how it goes. Hopefully everything's nice and fine and dandy. Connor, this is a good time to roll through that starting lineup. I think let's start with row number 1, Adam Cabot in the 77 and AJ Stravato in the number 33.
Stravato definitely one of the favorites for the championship. The other favorite, Jeff Wright, the guy starting in 3rd, and Ryan Carwell, last week's winner at Charlotte, starting alongside him in 4th on that 2nd row.
In row number 3, Robert Gaba rolls off on the inside in the number 75 car. Bryce Calusa starts in 6th in the number 20.
Then that 4th row, Liam Sheen coming in here for a one-off spot, and alongside him, another Long Tech car, one of the drivers up for the Dash for Cash, Bailey Turner in 8th. Then that 5th row, rounding out the top 10, Jonathan Hernandez and Sam Devantier.
In row number 6, Jeremy Miller in the number 30. Elliott Butler starts 12th in the number 6 car. Then in row number 7, starting on the inside in 13th, that'll be Eric Hutton's number 88. Zach Halpern starts in 14th in that number 26.
I think it's the first start all season for Elliott Butler. Good to have him back. Now that 8th row there, Alex Bell and Jeremiah Vincent, 62 races since Bell won last. That was here at Talladega. And then the 9th row, Reggie Ortega and Caleb Weekly, the last 2 qualifiers on time.
And everyone else you see rolling across the bottom of the screen did not get a qualifying lap, so they will be starting a little bit farther down the field because of that. And as we start our pace lap, this is a 94-lap race. This is a half distance of the full distance race here at Talladega. So this is not going to be a short one by any stretch, about an hour and 20 minutes from flag to flag. That's if we stay green, which we know we will not, Connor, but when do we predict that first crash is going to happen? Outsiders generally does a pretty good job of staying clean and green, but you can't guarantee it.
I think I'm going to say around lap 15 to 30. Around lap 30, that's really when that's really when the tank's going to start to go. Fuel limit's about 80%, so we might not even see these guys be able to stretch it to like lap 28, lap 30. I think that's maybe where the pit sequence will start, and that's when a lot of people are going to be rushing to the bottom line. That's another thing we got to be careful of, trying to get to that bottom line to pit. It could go badly. I think that's where we might see the wreck happen. Well, I don't think it's going to be a big one, but I think we'll see a spin or two.
Always the potential for calamity at Talladega Superspeedway. Lined up 29 cars deep. See the huge spoiler on the rear of this car that actually has a window in it because it's so tall the drivers can't see out the back, so that's been amended so that they can. And you mentioned how close some of the colorations of these Lawn Tech cars, the 77, 33, 48, 33 and 48 specifically, are inverses of each other, but at a distance. Very easy to think that they're the same one. I think there's a few more stragglers throughout the field running that similar coloration as well. So rolling through turn number 4, 94 laps here at Talladega, Connor. Prediction, who wins this race tonight? I mean, it's always a crapshoot, but I think we've seen the cream rise to the top here in the last couple of years.
I think we're going to get a bit of a surprise tonight. I think Alex Bell, it's been a while. Like I said, 62 races, and his last win came here at Talladega. I think he's got enough help. I think he's going to have enough speed to be able to pull it off tonight. So that's my pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's battling it out with Jeremy Miller at the end. Also hungry for a win, 52 races since he won.
29 drivers at Talladega Superspeedway. The chase begins. 6 rounds from now, we'll declare a champion. The drivers with the gold numbers on the ticker are your chase competitors. The ones with the silver are only looking for victories for the rest of the season. The field comes to the green flag, and we're racing from Talladega. Green flag flies, and the chase is on in the Outsider Racing League. Already some shuffling at the end of lap number 1. Adam Cabot slots in front of Jeff Wright for the top spot. Ryan Carwile, he won his first race ever in overall at Charlotte last week. He runs in 3rd right now in the Ford Mustang. Behind him, Robert Gava, Sam Devantier, Bryce Calusa, Stravado, Butler, Turner, and Miller, the rest of your top 10. And let's keep an eye on that number 30 car. Always a ringer whenever you come to these plate tracks.
It doesn't matter what league it is either. The Cup cars of ORL, you see the Xfinity Series with Fuel, he's always up front in that. It doesn't matter what car I put him in. If it's a super speedway, he's a competitor to win.
Elliott Butler pushing the number 20 of Bryce Calusa. He's a race winner back at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta earlier in the year, taking the top line forward. Let's talk about some changes to the iRacing service this week, Connor. We've got an air bubble now between the cars and the wall. How much has that been affecting the plate races, if at all, and will it be a factor tonight?
It doesn't really affect them as much as you might think. If you get up there, it's kind of going to push you away. It might help a little bit, maybe try to get you a run out of a corner, but I haven't seen it affect the race so far this week. But that might change here today. That outside line's got a big run. It's got a lot of drivers involved in it.
6 car of Butler pushing forward. The 30 of Jeremy Miller has jumped to the outside lane. Add the 15 of Alex Bell in as well. He is a chase competitor, and bit of a check up there behind the leading car in that group of Calusa, but now they're going to shove forward with all the force in the world, and to the top spot, the 20 car has the nose ahead for a moment.
It's so hard to lay back in this because you get such big runs when you're laying back there and you go full throttle. You get a huge run on the back of the lead pack. So all of these drivers are saying, screw it. I'll just go to the top line and see what happens. And Calusa's bringing everyone who has that mentality right now to the front of this pack. A lot of hope early. Probably look at Jeremiah Vincent in the middle going 3 wide.
Yeah, he's going to take the field up the middle. Usually that's where he gets sucker hold, but the 45 is going to take Reggie Ortega there up the center, 3 wide. Plenty of room to do it here at Talladega if everyone behaves.
Miller went down to get that run, but everyone else came to the middle with him. The lone guy caught out of all that is Alex Bell. He'll drift to the back. Angelo Ronas goes to help him. Sam Devantier, someone else going to the back with him. 2 drivers saying they don't want any part of this. And that inside lane's going to die because of that rubber gavel. 1 drivers who drop back. And here comes Calusa.
Calusa still getting a shove from the 6 car of Butler, but it's the Lawn Tech teammates on the bottom. The 77 and the 48 still out front leading this event. Through turn number 4 on lap number 4. You see the 29 of Angelo Ronas. He's joined the party as well. Watch the speeds climb here. 196. Probably close to 200 as we head off into turn number 1. Maybe even over it with the run the 29 is going to have.
Vincent's the most aggressive driver out there, no doubt about it. He knows how to win at these plate tracks, too. He shoved Miller 3 wide to the top. He's trying to do the same with Elliott Butler, but can't get there. Now the 30 is the next victim of his aggressive run to the front.
Down the back straightaway now, line is Stern on the bottom. They're starting to get formed back up. The outside is sort of dying as that 45 continues to split his way up the middle. That's going to get real dicey there as he makes it work, but Jeremiah Vincent is willing to work with no one. Ortega pushes him all the way to 3rd as they sweep through turn 3.
I was waiting for Calusa to either block him or just go to the top line, but he kind of just held his line. He just dared Vincent to go to the middle. There's barely room there. Hey, I dare you, go there. And they did it. Those two, they're making the tandem work. They don't have a full line behind it, but those two on their own making it work side by side for the lead.
Across the start-finish line now, just noticed an issue with the timing and scoring, so I'll get that sorted out in the meantime. And we'll get everything nice and dandy so we can see all the gaps and everything.
I'm just really surprised the two-car tandem like that's working. They have a big run. They can't clear him yet, but those two together are making it work. The only problem is, when is Reggie Ortega going to have to back off?
Well, you always worry about the temperatures, Connor, but has that been a big deal ever since they changed these cars to the plateless package? Has that really been a limiting factor to the push, or is it more what the front driver can handle?
It's a little bit of both. You have to make sure the guy getting pushed can handle a bump like that, but those temps are still going to climb. You start tandeming for too long, if it gets above 284, it starts to blink red, starts to flash red, and it's kind of random when it blows up. You can either go like 15 to 20 more seconds with it red before blowing up, or it might just blow up immediately. You got to really be careful once that red timer hits 284 on the oil temp. You got to watch out. Look at this outside line, how they got it formed up now.
They are formed up. There's a handful of Chevrolets, followed by the Toyota of Alex Bell. He's going to push the 2-car to the middle. I don't think that's where Reggie Ortega wanted to go, but he got the boot from the 15 and had to go there. The 45 is going to back out. Did he lead a lap, and will that be all he seeks? He has not yet led a lap, and he is not in the chase either, so really no need to points race necessarily.
I think that was more because Ortega was probably, like we were just talking about, he was probably starting to blow up, and he maybe felt like he had to go now, so he almost gets the lead lap. And Cabot still led all 7 laps so far, I do believe. Look at the push that Alex Bell is giving to that rear bumper. He knows how to push here.
Side by side for the top spot. Ortega in the Chevrolet on the outside, the blue and red car, then the green and white on the bottom. That's the 77 of Adam Cabot out of New Jersey, with his teammate behind him, Jeff Wright. And with Wright in the playoffs and the 77 of Cabot not in the playoffs, that might change how these cars race, but I don't think it's going to matter right now. Ortega, that's going to get split 3 wide again. Bell backs out, but I don't think he's going to get a chance. So, yes, he will, to tuck it back in behind the 2-car.
He wanted to go down there. Bell told him to go down. Bell might be bad on the temps, but Ortega was clear, but he didn't commit. Didn't go all the way down there, and eventually almost caused a huge stack up. That could have caused a wreck on that top line because of how bad that stacked up and how unexpected it was. But they were able to get it formed up, and now they're going to have to wait a few laps to get a run like that again.
Down the back straightaway now, some shuffling going on in the background. I think that was the 10 of Caleb Weekly. Remember, the last time we were here, wasn't it the last time that we were here that Caleb Weekly got his win, or was that a couple seasons ago? He runs in 8th right now for starting in 18th.
I think that was a few seasons ago. I think we've gone to Talladega past that, but I might be wrong. I know we've gone to Daytona. We did go to Daytona twice last year, so I'm not quite sure. But yeah, his first start in the series ever, he was able to win it. Hasn't had much luck as of late, but he still knows how to get to the front. That shows why he was able to win with such an experience around the drivers back then. And I think we're finally going to get a new leader. Ortega did lead that lap.
Across the line for Adam Cabot. He has led 8. Ortega led that one, but only by a couple thousandths of a second. Maybe foreshadowing for the margin of victory we could see tonight. We were just here at Talladega with the 3-wide Cold Hard Art Cup Series not too long ago, and we saw one of the most chaotic finishes in Sim TV history. And there's a lot to live up to. There's some shuffling going on still at the front. Front 2, or front 4, I should say, all grouped together in pairs. And there's plenty of space on that outside. We'll see if anybody utilizes that cushion up top to see if they can kind of squeeze up there and get a run.
Still waiting for any chase driver to lead a lap. It's been all Adam Cabot and one for Reggie Ortega. No chase drivers led a lap yet. These teammates with Jeff Wright, surprised he didn't try to get him to the lead possibly, to maybe let him get the most laps led possibly, but hasn't happened yet. The 2's able to fill that gap on the top line. Almost led that lap.
Elliott Butler making his return to the series in behind the number 21 of Eddie Trejo. Down the back straightaway. You see how much these cars move around, Connor. At a distance, they don't really look like they're moving, but down in the cockpit, there's plenty of movement going on. And this is why Talladega typically goes a little bit better than Daytona, at least for the long term, just because there's a little bit more space, a little bit more margin for error.
Yeah, you have a lot of room for 2 wide. They can go all the way to the wall to avoid someone if they need to, but at Daytona, you really only have those 2 lanes. You can go 3 wide, but it is a pinch. Here you can even make 4 wide work, but you definitely wouldn't try it. Look at those 2 formed up on the top there, but a lot of room for maneuverability, and that really makes it go farther green into a run than you would at Daytona, so it definitely helps to have that much real estate to move with.
Ortega has led the last couple laps with that squeeze of speed he's gotten out front, not in the chase. The chase drivers lit up in gold on the left-hand side of the screen, 3 wide now. Trejo up the middle of Caleb Weekly. Here comes the 6 car of Butler to give him a shove and bring him up to the 15 car.
Yeah, those two just can't clear those long tech teammates right now. He got clear, couldn't make it work, and then that time into turn 1, he's just not committed enough. He doesn't want to chop the 77 of Cabot. I don't think he wants to take that risk this early into a race, but I think the 15 might need him to, or else he might blow up. He's got to be careful on those temps.
Cross the line to complete lap number 12. I think you said lap 30 is when you predicted there to be a potential for a big wreck. And with the way they're running right now, they are competing, but they're not really pushing the issue, I wouldn't say, Connor. They seem like they're fairly reserved and kind of dropping into lockstep with each other. That brings down that crash risk until probably a little bit later in the race. I can't tell you how many times we've seen a Talladega race with no crashes until the final few laps.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens here, because they are only staying 2 wide. We haven't seen any third lane form up, and that's really because there's not enough cars for a third lane to really happen. You got about the top 15 staying in this lead pack, and then you got Caleb Weekly sort of leading this sort of second pack. You got a few chase drivers in there, Bryce Calusa, Zach Halpern with his teammate Tim Downey Jr., Liam Sheen, a competitor for the win, he's back there. Jeremy Miller, I expected him to race heavily, but he's laying back. Same for Angelo Horonis.
And with the amount of colors on the ticker, we decided not to colorize for the Dash for Cash tonight. But if you see any cars with the green numbers on the side and the roof, those cars are eligible for an extra cash bonus if we finish the race under green flag conditions. The highest up that is eligible for that right now, big slide backwards for the 18 of Matt Wagner. He's a lap down. Don't see any damage on this car. Don't know why he's off pace, but there he goes, 1 lap down.
Just must have missed the start, and when you have no draft like that, that's really what will happen. He tries to get in front of Caleb Weekly, can't do that, so he'll drop back to the back of the entire pack. Only 1 lap down, so if we do get a yellow, as long as he avoids it, he should be the lucky dog. Must have missed the start. He almost got into a tear with is that the 50 hottest?
I was just watching the 21 of Eddie Trejo. He had a big moment trying to save the car on a turn 4. The car stepped out on him. Across the line now to complete lap number... Whoa, no, the 2 car!
Oh, and is he going to save it? He did, but a bunch of drivers got damaged and all that, and since there's going to be no yellow, look at the scramble. Drivers on the apron trying to get back up in front of the track.
That was amazing that Reggie Ortega was able to keep that from wadding up the entire field, but it did spread everybody out. Let's go back and have a look at it here, Connor. And this is going to be a pretty wild view from up above.
We'll have to see what Bell says. You see, he's giving him a big shove. He gets on the right rear a little bit, and that's what caused him. He didn't get centered. Big damage for Cabot. Eddie Trejo, I think Stravato might have got damage as well. He wasn't centered, hit that right rear wrong. That's what sent him around, but a great job to save it, and they're still scrambling to get back with each other. We got a breakaway of about 5 cars right now.
That was a great job by Ortega. That was pretty much a crash in my mind. The 77 did receive some damage on that car. I'm not sure if it's going to be race ending by any means, but it's certainly not going to be helpful. The 21 got a punch into the right or into the rear of the vehicle, but up front it's Elliott Butler who storms to the front, picks up Austin Carpe in the number 5.
And Elliott Butler also has some left front damage, not as severe as the 77, but he definitely has damage on that car as him and Carpe start to tandem. Jeff Wright is going to hang on now. So really now the 2 drivers who were dominating this race so far, Ortega and Cabot, they have damage. He's going to go 3 wide in the background. I think that might be, that's Stravato and Hutton the long tech teammates going around the very, very battered car of Eddie Trejo. So we got more contenders up at the front. Jeremy Miller, Alex Bell's up there now. Got a lot of drivers who didn't really want to be up the front, but you see how spread out it is. They kind of got no choice.
Keeping an eye on this 55 of Liam Sheen. Every time he shows up into a plate race, he's like a wizard. He will find his way forward, taking it pretty easily right now. Started in 7th, dropped to the rear. Now he runs in 9th, moving forward. Going to drive up to the Lawn Tech teammates' rear bumper and carry some momentum down the outside lane. But watch this 55 car. Liam Sheen will have a say at the front of this race by the end of the night.
And this is where the wreck's going to brew. You got those top 3, Elliott Butler, Austin Carpe, and Jeff Wright in front of a pack. And then it's a scramble. Everyone's trying to get to those top three first so they can get to the lead first. I think it's going to be Stravato and Hutton being able to do that before everyone else, but they are scrambling to get to the front of this sort of second pack, and we got a third pack sort of forming. Matt Wagner's pulling off to the pits. Maybe he's calling it, no, Devantier's calling it. Maybe calling it a day. He's coming into the pits. You got guys like Zach Halper, Matthew Close, guys in sort of a very scrambled third pack sort of falling off, and they're in danger of losing that pack. And Reggie Ortega's pretty much on his own now.
The front 3 The trio, it ran about 2.5 tenths slower than AJ Stravato and Hutton and everyone on backwards. So that front three is not making speed right now, even though their line is stern. Look at these two teammates pushing and shoving. They're going to drive right up to the rear bumper, then swing to the driver's right. And there they go to the top spot. Maybe if they can get around the 6. Hutton pushes AJ Stravato. It looks like they've picked up another teammate up there as well. The 48's jumped to the outside.
Yeah, Jeff's going to go with him. He's the only chase driver, I think, so far to lead a lap. So, I mean, technically that puts him a 1-point lead over Bailey Turner. But Stravato wants to lead that lap. He's going to go to his teammates outside there, and Eric Hutton's going to be able to help him do that.
Cross the line to complete lap number 18. We avoided disaster a little while ago. Caleb Weekly and the 21 of Eddie Trejo almost turned each other on the front straightaway. Maybe a bit of frustration there from the 10 that he wasn't given a lane. There's Ronas getting another shove from the 24 of Bailey Turner, but all up front, that's where the chaos is now. Look at the 33 car. Stravato takes his run to the front.
Got another player up here. I think that's Jonathan Hernandez. He's been a quiet driver all season long, really. Hasn't done much. Been at the front here, there, had some decent runs. And also, by the way, Liam Sheen, like you were saying, bit of a wizard there. He's already into the top 5, making his run from lead. But Hernandez, a sneaky pick, might make a run. You never know. He's been pretty good all season.
Teammates working together at the front of the field. They've gotten in front of Elliott Butler and put the block on him. Liam Sheen all out on the outside on his own right now. The 29 of Rodas with a big run. Will the 24 of Turner stick with him? There's Zach Floyd as well. Floyd is a playoff competitor with the yellow spoiler. He is in this championship chase. Can't figure out which lane they want. They're going to drop to the bottom, Connor.
Teammates with Hernandez right now, so if those two can get hooked up, maybe they have some help to maybe get by those long tech cars. But I think what we're seeing right now is those teammates they know how to work together. It's going to be hard to beat them right now. You got to get a bunch of cars lined up with them, getting tight back there in that 2x2 battle there. But yeah, there's going to be really, when it comes to Stravato and Jeff J. Wright, it's going to be really tough to be able to battle those guys and get them for the win, as Hernandez is going to drop back here.
Sam Devontier came to pit lane and looks like he got some service and has rejoined the racetrack 1 lap down. I'm not exactly sure what that was for. Either way, let's come on down and rejoins the racetrack in 29th. We have all 29 of our race starters still rolling in the field. And 1 car dropping back is Hernandez, and I think he dropped by beyond his teammate, so just maybe trying to get out of the fray as he sees the front starting to spice up again.
I think one thing we're seeing, a lot of drivers are on the inside line now. Maybe the pit window's a bit earlier than we think. A lot of drivers going to the bottom. As I say that, Aronis goes to the top. He's got a big run here. Austin Carpay's the odd man out in that lead pack, as Elliott Butler is the only thing Elliott Butler and Liam Sheen, the only two separating the long-time teammates, are being completely formed up with each other right now.
Well, 21 laps in, we'd be expecting pit stops to start happening relatively soon. The 42 just jumps straight to the outside in front of the 29 through the tri-oval. No takers to the pit lane just yet, as we come on through to complete the 21st lap of 94 here tonight.
Wow, look at the run those two got. I was going silent for a little bit, but look at the run that 5 has in the 42. They're hooked up. They're going 202 into turn number 3 right now.
202 miles an hour off into turn 3. He'll drop to the bottom of the racetrack right in front of the 33 and 48. Floyd to the outside with help from the 29 of Ronas now as they come out of turn 4. 2 Chevrolets up at the front. Actually, I think all the top 5, all the top 10 are Chevrolets with the exception of Casey Lakatos in the 10th spot. No, make that 8 of the 10. Because Angelo Ronas is running in a Ford Mustang tonight.
He's actually the only Ford in this chase, and there's another Chevy behind him. It's Robert Gaba in S75, new livery on his car, looking pretty nice. Only 3 cars on this top lane. It seems like, oddly enough, I think I've noticed this before, but a 2-car tandem is in a way better than a full line of cars. Sometimes if you get 2 cars hooked up, you can just fly.
I'm not sure that it'll work long term, though. I think you're stronger in a group, but for short runs, I think you're, as you mentioned, better off in a 2-car tango configuration. Past the 99 is Sam Devontier, who ran quite well at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta before getting turned around a couple times and thus ending his run at a win. Under an hour of racing to go if we stay green to the end. This is a longer race, and plate racing can be very stressful, Connor. Tell me about when you're in your middle 3 wide for a couple laps at a time, how much is that stressing you out, and how much do you have to focus to make sure that you don't make a mistake?
you have to just look ahead. As we see, the Long Tech teammates Travado and Wright are going to dump Austin Carpe and go for that race lead. But you have to be on your toes. You can't focus on being 2-3 wide. You just got to focus on being in the middle line, look ahead, see what's happening. If you're getting check up for it. You have to be just looking you got to be looking in the windshield. You can't be looking in the mirror. You can't be stressed out. It is stressful, but you can't be stressed out in a moment. You have to make sure you have the mental capacity to just focus on what you're doing, focus on the job at hand, and don't panic. If you panic, you're going to cause a wreck. You just got to stay focused when you're in a situation like that.
Into turn 1, the 48 of Jeff Wright pops down in front of teammate AJ Stravado. The 42 on the outside, the Zach Floyd machine, has Austin Carpe to his inside, and the 75 of Gaba behind him. And Casey Lakatos, there's a lot of slipping and sliding on that outside lane, not formed up very tightly, but they're giving it a go.
Yeah, not making much ground up. That inside line, those two teammates are ahead of the rest of the pack. Carpe might be the next driver to clear that outside line there. We'll see if he jumps to the outside to try to get by those teammates again, as that's exactly what he's going to do. A big slide up to the top lane in front of Zach Floyd with the 33 block. I don't think they can.
Not enough momentum to get up there and do that. They're going to push and shove on the bottom to try to rebuild some of that momentum and take Elliott Butler with them. But Carpe got a heck of a shove there from Zach Floyd. He's going to shove the 5 around the outside. Whoa, big moment off into turn 1, but they're going to carry that speed.
You got to be careful tandeming. I think if it comes down to a green-white checkered opportunity, I think a tandem is what you want to do to get to the front and go for the win, but it's definitely risky. We've seen someone get turned by doing that before. We might see it again because these two are the most aggressive at bumping that we've seen all race.
Pushing and shoving for the top spot on lap number 26 in the Outsider Racing League Chase Race 1 of 6. And this is an interesting chase, to say the least. We start here at Talladega, then we head to Sonoma 1 week from today, then Dover, Iowa, and Atlanta in the new year to finish off the season. And none of those racetracks are what I would consider easy, especially Sonoma. That's a challenging racetrack. Now 3 wide, Weekly in the middle for 9th.
He's going to get by. Looks like Lakatos is going to be the next driver to drop to the back of this pack. Just like the original lead pack, about 15 cars staying 2 by 2, and then he got a line led by Alex Bell, Jeremy Miller in there. A lot of chase drivers choosing to lay back on this first run here, except for those Long Tech teammates and a few here and there. Coronis staying in there as well. Look at the 5 of Carpe. He's clear for the lead. Will he go down? Yes, he does.
Carpe jumps on down, and there's Reggie Ortega rejoining the field a lap down. When you see teammates lined up like this, think back to the real world at Talladega. Think Stuart Haas Racing, Connor. When you have this many teammates, you have the ability to control a race, and that's exactly what Jeff Wright and AJ Stravado are trying to do. And Austin Carpe seems like he's figured this out, drops in front of them, and is sort of trying to kill the momentum of that team and decrease the advantage of having multiple cars.
Yeah, the Storehouse Racing, obviously they were able to pull away from the rest of the field. It's still an absurd race in my memory, but unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for the racing, they can't pull away like that, those 4 teammates, but they're definitely the class of the field right now, as Floyd's going to go for the race lead, help from Gaba. It's really tough to combat when you're going against a 4-car team like that. You gotta, if you don't have a team, you gotta get random people together, try to take those guys down. Yeah, it's really tough when you got guys who know how to work together, have done it before, and will probably do it again in the future. You have to, it's hard to figure it out because it's likely that it won't happen as we see pit stops happening. Angel Horonis and Eddie Trejo are in.
And they're gonna bring another one with them. That's Clifton Cockrell in the number 16. Can they get it woed down? They do it nice. That's always a concern here, Connor, is getting slowed down to pit road speed. You don't run very big brakes here, and every time you go to the pedal, a lot of chance for wheel hop and lockup, and that trio did a very nice job. I think we're going to see some more of that over the next few laps, and when you get big groups, there's always the potential for a big mistake to wrap up a couple different cars.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the majority of the lead pack going out this time by. And another concern with pitting by yourself is that you might not have friends. He has Clifton Cockrell, but he also has Eddie Trejo, who's absolutely destroyed. So I don't know if that's going to work out for Angel. As we're hearing a lot of pitting in on the radio, we're going to see the entire pack coming in this time.
Well, I think AJ Stravado is going to come on down. Yeah, here they come. Everyone's going to come on down to pit lane. A few drivers will stay out. Oh, there's a lot of fast cars coming into pit lane. They're going to get it woed down. Nicely done by this field. One car in the background, and Liam Sheen just missed the concrete. Whoa, the 33 got tagged from the 42 of Floyd. Did Floyd miss his box?
I'm not sure. I don't think he has yet. Hutton's going to try to get down to his box. That's another problem. You don't go invisible sometimes. I think Floyd did miss his box, so And Jeff Wright might have missed his box. He did. He's going to have to back up. So that's another issue. You don't go invisible sometimes. You have to make sure you're not going to right rear someone trying to turn into your stall. So a lot of drivers lost time. The 42 lost big time.
Well, Ryan Carwile is going to lose time because he doesn't have any friends out here. He's losing all this time running about 10 miles an hour under pace.
Oh, Matthew Close stayed out an extra lap as well. He might be out of fuel. He's on the apron here.
He is out of fuel. Trying to get the car back to pit lane. He'll make it. He's just going to give up a whole lot of time in the process.
First one out of pit road's going to be Stravato. Then we got Alex Bell, who got all the way up to second. Gaba, Turner, Butler, Lakatos. A big scramble in this lead pack. Baronis is all on his own, but he's actually going to be able to stay with all these guys because of how chaotic their situation was. So they're going to get it. They're going to get back in line here. Zach Floyd seems to be out of fuel now as well because he went that extra lap, and he's going to have trouble getting to his stall from there.
So a lot of shuffling on that pit stop sequence, and the car that had to roll back around, I think was that
Matthew Close.
There was Adam Cabot is down in 25th.
He was off the pace because of a damage. He was way off the lead pack.
Okay. Who was the driver that missed their box? Was that the 42? Floyd?
It's Floyd did. He's just coasting to his box right now. Also, trying to forget, Matthew Close did, and also the 42. He just made his box right now, so he's going to lose a lot of time as well, way behind that lead pack.
So the front pack is going to reform now behind the 33 of AJ Stravato. He'll be the new race leader. There's Carwile jumps back on the racetrack with, I think that's the one of Jonathan Hernandez. And behind him, they're going to blend into the racetrack right in front of Jeff Wright and Bryce Calusa, who will go around the outside in their Chevrolets.
That's how much time matters here. Jeff Wright barely overshot his box, and he might still be in the pack, but he was all the way up battling for the lead, and now he's pretty much at the very back of the pack. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can get back up there. Everyone's scrambled at this lead pack right now. Gaba's actually coming back in the pit lane. Wonder if he got too many boxes exiting.
I don't have him actually coming pit lane before. I think, is he coming back? I don't have him recorded as making a pit stop in the first place.
I think he definitely did. Yeah, lap 29 was he on pit road?
He's rolling through, maybe serving a penalty here, and he'll rejoin the racetrack.
I think he did have too many stalls entering or exiting because obviously Chambliss he's able to do those penalties up in the booth right now. So that's unfortunate for Gabby, who's having a really good run. See if anyone else has any penalties.
Elliott Butler and Alex Bell at the top of the field now. The 50 of Casey Lakatos. There's two teammates lined up on driver's left, or driver's right, I should say. That's two of the Sim Motorsports entries.
Here comes Carwile. Maybe he got a penalty as well. He's coming into pit lane again now.
Could be too many boxes, rolling through too many boxes, Connor. That's an easy one to forget. And that would explain the drive-through situation over a stop and go. So we're past the 1/3 mark of this race and charging towards halfway at lap number 47, about 15 laps from now. And I don't think we've seen anybody consistent enough to say that we know who can win this race. I think if you pick a Lawn Tech car, you're in pretty good shape, though.
Yeah, we're just going to be picking Lawn Tech cars, and if one of them don't win, maybe, I don't know what happens. Do they have to give us money, or do we give them money if they don't win? I don't know how that works, but they're definitely the class of the field right now. Another thing to note, Carpe, he didn't get a penalty other than not entering or exiting boxes or anything like that. I think he actually sped on the pit road, and he was the race leader with that lead pack, so he's about to get lapped along with Adam Cabot right now.
On board with Jeff Wright in the 48 car behind a trio of teammates. And right now, you're sort of just riding. After these green flag stops, most of the time is spent sort of reforming those packs. But the problem is right now, these are when the runs are really big, is when you're building up drafts and momentum to catch other packs. 10, 15 mile an hour speed differences are not uncommon, and that creates a whole lot of chaos.
I don't know if we're going to see any more catching up happening, though. We only got 15 lead lap cars in this lead pack. Rich Ortega a lap down in this pack, and obviously also Adam Cabot and Austin Carpe might join that pack as well. They're going to go to the top here, but a lot of drivers lost out big as Carpe's not going to the top yet, but all right, now he's going to the top. That was getting scary, but yeah, only 15 lead lap cars. A lot of drivers really messed up. That's how bad it is. You can't pit in a big pack like that. It's better to pit with about 5 cars or something like that, or else it just won't work out. Trejo and Tim Downey trying to tandem up this lead pack, but they're far behind. Clifton Cockle, Matthew Close, Zach Floyd, Matt Wagner, they're actually, 3 of those guys are lapped down already. Sam Devantier is on his own. Corey Steinhauser, Jeremiah Vincent lost the lead pack. A lot of errors happened that time. Also Carwile and Gaba.
Working lap number 35, 60 laps to go here from Talladega. And it's 2 nice and even lines. 5 rows deep at the front of the field. 10th place right now is the 20 of Bryce Calusa, the winner from Road Atlanta. Looking forward to heading to a road course next week. The 6 car gets a shove from the 24, but the 15 of Bell, with the teammates push, he will drive to the front and lead this lap.
Now, another thing we're going to have to look out for is Bell clears for the race lead, and next playoff driver to lead a lap, it goes to Bell. We're going to have to look out for the race for the halfway points, 1st through 5th. First place at the end of lap 47 gets 5 points, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way to 5th place. So that might be something these drivers want to race for as well.
Down the back straightaway, I have not seen any particular line be better than the other, Connor. This is different from the past. Usually, you'd see all the passes happening on the top side of the racetrack, but with whatever changes we've seen, it seems like both lines are extraordinarily even, and it just depends who's getting the shove at the moment.
Yeah, it really just comes down to who the better pusher is really right now. There's really no dominant line, or it never has been really at Talladega. The bottom line's just better because it's the shortest way around, but it really comes down to how good the pushing is on either line. You see Elliott Butler, he's always been an aggressive pusher, and Alex Bell's aggressive as well down there. You see them inch out to the front. You get a bit of a run out of turn 2, but it's not good enough if you don't have a pusher, and Jeremy Miller's one of the better drivers to do it when it comes to pushing at a super speedway. Look how hard he's shoving that 50 at Lacatus. They had an issue at Charlotte last week. It's kind of surprising they're working together, but they're able to make it work. Those sim teammates 1-2 right now. You don't see that often.
1-2 and controlling either lane. So when it comes to controlling the field, Connor, would you rather have a tandem of teammates on the inside or outside, or would you rather have them abreast across the racetrack, one controlling each lane?
I think you'd rather have one controlling each lane. I was in an NIS race at Dega, and there was a team with the pros like Casey Curran, Malik Ray, and a bunch of other drivers, maybe Nathan Ryan, and like John Colin Keister was there as well. You could go, there was 3 lanes that whole entire race, and one of them were leading those lanes each and every time. They were checking up the lanes as well. I wouldn't recommend doing that because you get yourself wrecked, but if you could control every single lane with teammates, you'll be able to make it work. Bell couldn't control that lane. Lacatus couldn't help him. Elliott Butler and Bailey Turner going to jump up to the front. Yeah,
the 50 was sort of a roadblock for a minute, and as soon as he moved over, the 2 Chevrolets, the 6 and the 24, came to the front. Butler now slots in the bottom. The 24 of Turner, multi-time race winner this year, his first at Darlington in race number 5 of the season. He's going to head to the outside on the front straightaway.
Able to make it work there. Turner trying to get up to the lead now as Elliott Butler's going to lead another lap. He's led a few laps here and there. We'll see if he can dominate this second run here as these chase drivers are going to be fighting for that top spot when it comes to the end of lap 47. Turner getting a big push from the 50 and the 30 over there as we're seeing some drivers start to lose this lead pack back there in about outside the top 12. Jeff Wright, Zach Halpern, Brandon Bowers, and Jonathan Hernandez major losing this pack.
Well, you mentioned the 30 of Jeremy Miller, and he has crept into the picture as well. Started 11th, running in 6th, sort of the super speedway ringer around here, and very much in the way that Liam Sheen is. And they run right now in 6th and 8th respectively, and I think both of those guys will be at the front by the end of this thing as long as they can make it there. So far, so good.
They have a friendly battle too. Both of them call themselves the Plate Goat, and Liam challenges him every time they race in a plate race together. Better. So they're kind of competing with each other right now. So far, the 30, I think, has been the better 2 of those drivers, but it only matters once you cross the checkered flag.
So as we near the halfway point in about 7 or 8 laps, a reminder that SimTV's got some changes coming in 2021, and they are very, very exciting. So make sure you stay tuned. I think the first opportunity to see the new graphics in action will be December 30th. For an upcoming TBD event. And then January 5th, I believe, is our first post-New Year's event with the Fuel Racing League. There'll be Daytona Duels coming up on SimTV. The Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series makes its return in 2021. Very excited to have them back on board with a newly refreshed IndyCar here in the iRacing service. So make sure that if you're not subscribed, that you do subscribe so that you don't miss any racing action in 2021, and trust me, you will want to be here. With all that we saw in 2020, there's so much more to come. Working lap 41, now Butler leads the inside lane with the 15 of Alex Bell. The 24 of Turner gets a big push from the 50 down the backstretch.
Yeah, that outside lane hasn't gotten a run up to the lead until now. That 6 still has that left front damage, but able to make it work. Not as severe as, say, on Adam Cabot's machine. 24 eked out to the lead there, but not able to clear just yet, as Butler's going to get the lead back out of turn 4, but we'll see the run that Bailey Turner and Case Lakatos can get.
Lakatos kind of ran up the racetrack and then used the momentum of running down the hill to come up and push the 24 out of turn 4. I think the 6 car is going to have the advantage as they come to the start-finish line this time. And yes, Butler takes that lap, but only by a couple inches. Now Turner gets that run into turn 1. We'll see if he drops in line.
Oh,
he will.
That's close. That was way closer. Oh, contact in the back, Carpe, and I think that was, who was that? The 33, Stravato and Carpe got together there. I don't know what happened there. The Carpe's up the racetrack 3 wide with Weekly and Bryce Calusa now.
Carpe is a lap down, fighting for the free pass position with Zach Floyd. Floyd is 14 seconds back, but Carpe is fighting for when we get that caution flag to get cycled back out to the lead lap. Look at the 50 car. Lakatos now with a big push from the 30 of Miller.
Yeah, he's the only driver up there a lap down, so he could really just drop to the back of this pack, and then when they do wreck, hopefully for him, when they do wreck, he can avoid it and easily get the lucky dog. I don't know why he was dooring the 33 there, but he was able to work out and got him to the back of the pack where he wants to be. Lakatos leads that lap. Big push from the 30.
We'll see if Lakatos drops to the inside. He might be content running where he is. Miller's giving him a shove, but they're going to lose momentum. They get disconnected. The 24 to the front now with a push from the 6, and here comes the 33 Estravato on the bottom.
And then we'll see what type of run the 30 gets back to the 50s bumper. Carpe's still trying to go 3 wide, maybe trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. That can work, but you need a lot of help doing that. No run for that outside lane. Two of those 3 Lawn Tech teammates might get clear out of turn 4. We'll see if Bailey Turner and Stravato might jump high. And we'll see if the 6 of Butler goes high for the lead.
Out of turn 4 now. Turner, Elliott, Butler, and Stravato all clear. Stravato might have overlap from the 50 as they come through the tri-oval. Very unsettling portion of this racetrack. It looks very simple. You're thinking it's just a gentle curve to the right, but it's so bumpy and bouncy. It's so hard to keep the cars under control there, especially with no aerodynamic downforce when you're following the lead car.
Yeah, we've seen it happen before. Alex Bowman, 2016, he spun out on his own just because of how bumpy the bottom lane. It's mainly that bottom lane. There's big bumps down there. And if you're pinching the inside line too far, they hit those bumps, push up the track, you're causing a big one. You got to really watch out. You got to be courteous to those drivers going over those bumps.
Following on the bottom of the racetrack, Elliott Butler making his return to Outsider Racing League. He started this race in 12th. He has gone to the front and has not fallen out of the top 10 all night long. Now in front of the 50, Lakatos going to split him 3 wide as they come through the tri-oval.
And it's a big checkup. The 30 was he was more following Elliott Butler than he was Casey, and he checked up to not cause a big wreck. He got into the left rear of Lakatos. They were able to save it. The checkup, I don't think anyone else got damage out of that.
Slicing and dicing at Talladega. 2 laps to the halfway point. The 50 of Lakatos now pushing the 6, but they're not going anywhere. Now they're going to build that run on corner exit. You see the 30 car Miller following them up there. The 15 of Bell in line. Calusa peeks out to get some air on the nose. The 2 Lawn Tech cars leading that bottom groove. Then the 55 of Liam Sheen running 4th in line at the bottom, waiting for a hole to open up.
I don't know where Bryce Calusa came from. He's been playing back all race, and I think that pit cycle really helped him get up to the front. He's in a position here, maybe we can get some halfway points here. You got 3 chase drivers on the bottom, 2 chase drivers on the front, in front of 2 more chase drivers for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, including Halpern and Aronis. So we got a few drivers on that outside lane. We might go 3 wide here to 33, look low. Look at the run Butler has on the top.
Points will pay out at the end of lap number 47 for the top 5. Butler noses ahead, but only just, with Turner carrying momentum on the bottom of the racetrack. Line astern down the back straightaway. Yellow banners, yellow spoilers, and yellow numbers on the ticker. Those are your chase competitors. They have 6 rounds to deem themselves the top driver in the series, with Sonoma coming up next week. Bailey Turner's probably looking forward to that. The majority of the other drivers probably not.
Miller looked 3 wide there, could make it work. The first driver to go for a 3 wide move, Zach Halpern. He has no help. Will Horonis go with him? Doesn't look like it. Lakatos looking middle. Under Elliott Butler, can't make it work. Bailey Turner not staying in line well. Here comes Halpern, and Miller's going to go for that 3rd lane, coming to the white flag for halfway.
Lap number 47. Points pay out for halfway at the end of this lap. 15 middle, 3 wide, the 30 on the outside with help from the 26. Through turn number 1, Turner on the bottom. The 6 car in the middle, the 30 car up top, but not yet even as they work through turns 1 and 2.
I think the 30 would be better off if he was pushing someone on the top lane. Maybe if Alex Bell got up in front of him, it would work, but it's just not working. That middle lane getting a big run. Elliott Butler ekes out to the lead. Now look at the run the 30 has. He's getting up to go for the race lead himself. 3 wide for the lead.
Here they come. Jeremy Miller to the top side of the racetrack with a push from the 26 of Halpern and that Toyota Camry. 3 wide, sideways is the 30 as they come through turn 4. Coming back to the checkers for the halfway point. Points paying out for the playoff competitors. 24, 30, 33, all going for it as they come through the tri-oval.
I think Miller's got the run, but here it goes. He's going to go through the apron where Bailey Turner's going to have the advantage. He lost momentum. I think Turner's going to have it. Butler comes back. Bailey Turner, Elliott Butler, Jeremy Miller. I think Stravado got 4th and Zach Halpern 5th.
They sure did. 3 wide through turn number 1. The points pay out. And now, cycle everything out. There's a wiggle from the 30 car of Miller.
Oh, and look at all the help they lost in the middle. Butler has nothing working. Halpern and Jeremy Miller working together very well. Also bringing Angelo Horonis with him. Carpe, Elliott, not Elliott Butler. I think that's Eric Hutton on that outside lane. They're able to get to the middle. Horonis as well. As look, Miller finally coming up to the front to lead some laps, going for the race lead.
Halpern going to give a shove right at corner exit. It's always a sketchy place to give a shove. Carpe now moving to the outside. The 26 going to swing to driver's right. He might bail out of this now and get out of the fray across the line. The 26 car is a chase competitor, Connor, so he tried to go up there to get points. Now he's going to fall to the back until the end of the race.
Now Miller is able to finally lead a lap. We'll see if he drops back, but if I know Jeremy, he's not dropping to the back. He's going for the race lead. Halpern, I thought he might have wanted a lap lead as well, but as a chase driver, he decided to just go to the back. And now Angelo Horonis, another driver, just now finally bringing his way to the front.
Sliding left and sliding right. Drivers at Talladega going to the limit. There's a car up the road that is about to go a lap down that I think is at the 65 of Steinhauser. No, must not be. I'm trying to see what car that could be.
Kind of have it right
it's the 77. You're right. Going another lap down. He's going to stay far to the right as the field comes on through the tri-oval.
Glad he did that before when they weren't. Glad they caught him when they weren't 3 wide. That would have been really bad, but you do have room for 4 wide on like Daytona.
Timing is everything at Talladega, and it especially is true when you're talking about passing lap cars. So 36 minutes of racing left to go. The 30, 24, and 29. Look at all these green numbers. That means that they're also dash for cash competitors, Connor. If any of these drivers wins the race under green flag conditions, an extra cash bonus, that's a little bit of extra motivation.
Especially for someone like Horonis who hasn't won yet. If he could win one of these dash for cash drivers, I think that would just set him on upward spiral. I think he'd be able to really go for a championship run. He's one of the better drivers in the sim, really, when it comes to ORL racing, but he just doesn't have that first win yet. Miller hasn't won in 50-something races. 2 hungry drivers at the front, and Miller's right in front of 2 drivers who are hungry for a championship, Bailey Turner and Adrian Stravado. So we're going to go 3 wide. Butler dumps to 29. Here comes Hutton.
Up the outside for the 88, or through, if I should say through the middle. The 6 car and the 5 car go to the high side. The 29 of Horonis sucker hold in the middle as Miller goes to the top spot. That inside lane has usually been where you kind of go for comfort, but isn't always the fastest spot. Again, tonight, it's a very different race from my perspective, Connor. We've always seen the outside be the place to make moves and the inside be the place to stay safe. Tonight, I've seen everybody going everywhere, and neither line seems to have an advantage. It's all just about who is the stronger pusher, and that's what I love about this new package here at Talladega.
We have 2 really strong drivers on both lanes right now. Eric Hutton's really good at these tracks. Jeremy Miller's obviously a threat. Bailey Turner's aggressive as ever. He got a really 2 stacked lines right now. We got a few contenders there as well. Caleb Weekly hasn't won in a long time since here at Dega. He's looking strong. He's into the top 5 all of a sudden. Austin Carpe, he's not dropping to the back. He's trying to get his lap back the hard way.
Angelo Horonis drops to the bottom of the racetrack to the middle of turn 1, picks up Jeremy Miller, who will give him a big shove. And Eric Hutton going to take some momentum to the outside with Caleb Weekly.
Horonis going to drop down, get that race lead. Hutton getting the push from Weekly. Can't do much there. Don't know how great of a pusher Caleb is. He hasn't been up front to push anyone. Got close to the left rear there of Eric Hutton, so they might be losing some momentum. Only 3 cars up there. I think we're starting to see a lot of drivers get ready for green flag pit stops, getting back to that bottom.
Yeah, we are caution-free so far in our 12th round of the season, a first round of our championship chase that ends on January 16th, where we'll crown a champion. We've had a couple close calls, especially a big one involving the 2 of Reggie Ortega, who still has not recovered. He runs 27th, 2 laps down. But we're about 6 to 7 laps away from seeing the start of pit stops, and about 10 away from having that cycle complete. And what about our run to the end here, Connor? It's just a little bit too far to make it on one more stop unless you really save fuel. So unless we get a caution, I don't think you can make it to the end after this next stop.
Yeah, that's third. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to make it on 2 stops either. Seeing Horonis go to the top, let Miller take the lead. He wants to lead that top lane for whatever reason. He's going to pick a putt in there. But yeah, you would have had to go about 31, 32 laps on these 2 runs if you wanted them, on those 3 runs, excuse me, if you wanted to make it all the way. And a lot of drivers pit out around the lap 29 spot. So we're going to see a lot of short pitting if this does go green to the end. You're going to see a lot of short pitting with about 5 to go. People taking splashes of fuel. I don't know what's going to happen. You might see fuel saving coming up into the fray. I saw someone in the chat, might have been Brent Jones. Someone talked about how that second pack was possibly saving fuel 2 to 3 laps from making it on one more stop. Only 4 drivers in that second pack. Tim Downey Jr., Clifton Compo, Eddie Trejo, and Matthew Close, I believe. So you never know. There's also a third pack, Carwell, Gaba, Vincent, Corey Steinhauser. So you really never know, but I think we're going to see a lot of short pitting, and that might be where the caution comes out if we see a lot of drivers short pitting with about 5 to go.
Next time by will be 40 laps to go here at Talladega. And perhaps 2 more pit stops, perhaps 1. But I think it's going to be 2 unless we get a caution flag. But that's a very likely scenario, Connor. So do you take full fuel, run this tank out as far as you can, then take full fuel, then maybe save just a little bit and hope and pray that you get a caution? Or do you commit to that 3-stop strategy?
I think you got to just take full fuel. I think you're going to take full fuel, but I don't know how much you're going to be able to save in a pack like this. These guys right now, they have to save a lot of fuel, a bunch of laps, or maybe about 6 laps. I just don't think that's possible. So I think a lot of drivers in this lead pack might just be abandoning that fact. Ronas goes to the top again. Him and Miller really doing a good job controlling this line right now, but I don't see anyone making it out on 2 stops. If they do, it's a miracle in my opinion. I think we'll just see a lot of drivers kind of just racing it out to the end, racing to the front before their 3rd and final stop, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, you mentioned 6 laps being too far to save. I would say it's even worse than that. I'd say it's pretty hard to save even 2 or 3 laps. Remember that the fuel mileage in these cars has gotten significantly worse since they changed the package on these cars and run the high drag restrictor plateless setting, because they are burning the same amount of fuel. They're not being restricted. They're burning the same amount of air and fuel as they would be in any other race week, but they're basically running the same speeds. The only thing slowing them down is the drag. So they are burning fuel unbelievably higher than they would be on the older package where you're restricting the airflow and thus restricting the combustion that happens. You're burning all the dinosaurs today, Connor, and it makes these cars very inefficient.
One driver who couldn't save anything, Reggie Ortega, who probably pit a lap earlier because he was a lap down. He'll come on his own, almost wrecked the pit wall there, but he's just cruising around at this point. He looks strong, but that unfortunate incident with Bell, just nothing going there. Ronas takes the lead back, no help for Eric Hutton on that top line. I'm still trying to look for that second pack. Someone did say they might have been saving fuel. Tim Downey Jr. pit around the same time as the guys in the lead pack pit, but he probably had an issue where he might have sped and lost a lot of time, and he got stacked up with this pack of about 5 cars, including a cabin who's going to fall off of them. I don't know if they're saving enough. I highly doubt they are, but they've actually kept decent time with the leaders. They've lost time for sure, but they haven't lost as much as I thought.
Through 3 and 4, Ronas and Miller leading the way as Ronas is going to peel off all by himself, though, Connor. That seems like a mistake.
I wonder if that has something to do with the Fords, as Hutton's going to dump the 30 of Miller. Miller almost dooring one of the Lawn Tech cars there, of Bailey Turner there. I think that's Miller's worst nightmare. He and Ronas are working very well, but now they got nothing to do, and all that track vision they had for so long is gone. Like I said, I don't know if it's something with the Ford or what, but that 29 has no good fuel strategy.
Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 teammates with the Lawn Tech schemes inside the top 10 right now, Connor. That is a dangerous thought for everybody else. If those 4 get up front, they can control both lanes 2 cars deep and have a lockdown on this whole race.
We're going to see pit stops here. They did it one time pretty cleanly, minor, not including the mess-ups on pit road. We'll see if anyone has issues today. Hutton trying to get to the bottom. Seems like the majority of the field's pitting this time. About 4 or 5 cars staying out.
They're going to come on down. Do they do it nice and orderly? A little bit of a skittish number 6, but he'll lock it down, and everyone else gets on there nice and clean. This is 3. We're stacked in 3 deep, though, Connor. Makes it tricky to get to your stalls.
You got to scramble to get to your stall. Carpay's the first one to get down. Elliott Butler looking for a stall. Bowers and Lakatis get down. I think everyone did a good job this time. Ooh, did Miller miss his stall? I don't think so. He got in very sideways, though.
He's in pretty good. In the background, you see the 25 of Tim Downey Jr. bringing a few more drivers to pit lane. There's the 18 of Matt Wagner, who's been sort of off pace all night long, a lap down. He's got some buddies that are a lap down with him as the rest of the field peels off of pit lane. And Caleb Weekly and other drivers should be coming this time, Liam Sheen included. He's going to dive to the inside, try to pick up a spot.
We're going to lose another driver at that lead pack. Alex Bell has not gotten out of pit road, so he must have had a speeding penalty as well. Liam Sheen's got to be careful. He doesn't get a speeding penalty, but the 15, that's really bad for his chase hopes if he's really going to be probably back with that second pack now.
Yeah, that's a big, costly moment. But maybe this is a blessing in disguise, Connor. Every time you have something like this happen to you late race, you think it's over, but then the crash reorganizes everybody. So as long as you can stay on the lead lap, you'll be in okay shape. I'm not convinced that he will be able to, but we'll see where he cycles out.
Yeah, he's going to have to hope for this lead pack to wreck another time, but they've been pretty orderly so far. And the less cars there are in that lead pack, I think the more calm it might get. But at the same time, it could also mean more chaos is going to happen. He's got less cars up there to mess up with the runs you get in the outside lane. So we'll see here. There's not going to be a lot of cars in this lead pack. You got Jeff Wright way out of the lead of this pack. Then about 7, 8, 9 more cars in this lead pack. So the lead pack has really gone really down low when it comes to how many drivers are in it.
Look at Caleb Weekly and Liam Sheen. They're going to blend on the racetrack behind the 48 car. That was actually a pretty efficient pit cycle for them. But they're going to get swarmed now by the other Lawn Tech cars. Liam's going to come up to try to cover, but he can't do it. He's going to get stormed on either side.
Yeah, I think he's actually getting lapped right now. Robert Gaba, I think he got another penalty for too many pit
Oh, this
stalls.
is getting really dicey, Connor. This is really spicy as they go 3 wide. The 31 car of Bowers in the middle. He's another Dash for Cash competitor. And I think they'll get this cycle, but that was nerve-wracking for a moment.
The Fancier's leading the pack now. I believe he's almost 3 laps down, if not already 3 laps down, maybe only 2 down, as Wright's going to go by him now. As they're going 3 and 4 wide, they don't know which lane to pick right now behind the 3 leaders right now. Reggie Ortega trying to get out of all of that, and Case Licata's trying to find a way to get around him.
As soon as they get this cycled, it'll be a little bit more attainable for everyone to find a groove to run in. The 48 and 24 have. The 30 car is going to take the 88 with them. And this is the danger. Look at all those Lawn Tech cars, all 4 in the top 5 at the moment. And this is where the danger comes for the rest of the field. If they get locked up together, there's no way that you can successfully swarm 4 drivers on a well-working team.
And now their last task before they can do that to dominate the rest of this race is how do you get the 30 out of the way. Miller's really good at blocking. He's not going to let that happen easily. He knows what's up. He sees all 4 teammates around him. He's got his teammate Brandon Bowers about 2 lanes back, trying to get him up there, but just nothing doing right now. They're trying to use Miller to maybe get him out front, give him a false sense of security, as Miller's going to go clear for the race lead, but how long is that going to last?
Miller to the inside, will go to the front. The 88 now leading the outside lane, and now the 4 teammates going to think to themselves, how do we get this blue guy out of the way? Because he's the only driver that doesn't match up in the top 5 right now with this other group.
If I was Jeremy, I would have just put a green car on my green paint scheme on my car and see if he could fit in. Brandon Bowers definitely doesn't fit in, not even close. But, you know, it's all right. But, yeah, these 4 teammates are basically the main field right now. They're just trying to find a way to get the 30 out of the way. But I just don't know if it's going to be possible. The 30, Miller's so aggressive at these tracks. He obviously knows what these teammates are trying to do. Hutton and Travato definitely going to go for the lead here as Bowers trying to get to his teammate to help him, but I don't think it's going to work.
The 31 has more colors on that car than a clown finger painting contest. I just don't understand how many. That is the brightest thing I've ever seen in my life as we head onto the back straightaway. He is glowing like the afternoon Alabama sun down the back straightaways. We are next time by will be coming to 30 laps to go.
Here goes the 33 to 88. They're going to get it down in front of Miller. Now Brandon Bowers, Miller's teammate, leads that pack. So those 2 teammates have a bit of a leverage over the Lawn Tech teammates if they can get formed up as they finally come to, not finally, but they're coming to lap Corey Steinhauser. That only leaves 20 cars on the lead lap.
Across the start-finish line now, Eric Hutton in the number 88 tonight. He has led 2 laps. Let's make it 3 as he crosses the start-finish line. And Bowers with a big, strong run with the help from the 6 car of Elliott Butler. He's going to get a taste of the lead for a moment.
I think everyone knows what's up with those Lawn Tech teammates. They're trying to make really Sad Boy Racing. They're not They're not Team Lawn Tech, but they might as well be tonight. But I think everyone knows what's going on, and they're trying to make sure it doesn't happen. Clear. That was way too close. You're gonna stack up on that bottom lane. Gonna stack everyone up. That was far close. That was way too close there. I wouldn't have done that. Almost caused a big one right there.
Watch this as he comes across the nose of the 88. That was mega. That was so tight, but he got it to his credit. Slid in there, and the 88 might have had to lift, but they run nose to tail now.
The third one's got some left rear damage. Now Carpe going to that top lane. Now he was fine on his own. He only lapped guy lap down in that lead pack, and now he's got Matthew Close, Corey Steinhauser, Matt Wagner, Zach Floyd, among other drivers to battle with. I think just Close and Steinhauser. He's got people to battle with now. And I can't imagine Eric Hutton's happy with Bowers after that. Bowers has got damage. The 88 might have damage, so we'll see how they can shuffle this 31 out of the way. Because the 30 dropped back because of that. He was on that inside line.
I was going to say, I've seen that move in Chicago traffic a couple times already, and he made it work a little bit better than the guys in the BMWs on the 94. But through 3 and 4, Bowers, Eric Hutton, then A.J. Stravato, then Jeremy Miller side by side with the 6 car of Elliott Butler, Jeff Wright, Ronis, Caleb Weekly, Turner, and Calusa are the rest of the top 10. Under 30 laps to go, a pit stop potentially, unless we get a caution, and in which case, better shut that motor off, and even then, I don't think you can still make it.
Yeah, I don't think you could even coast back 3. I don't think you're going to be able to coast 3 laps without any fuel. I don't think that's in the cards for anyone today. I think we're going to see a lot of racing to get to the front before that final pit stop. That's just going to be a splash and go. Look at Miller. He sees that outside line with the energy. He's going to get the block on Jeff J. Wright. The 33 can't get up in front of him. Neither can Hutton. Those 2 HBR teammates are going to lead both lines now.
Into turn 3 now, Miller with another opportunistic run with help from the 48. He will point his nose out ahead by about a half a car length over the 31. Now Bowers taking the shorter route around will pull even with him on corner exit.
We'll see if these 2 teammates, compared to 4 Sad Boy Racing teammates, we'll see if these 2 HBR teammates are able to control the rest of the pack. 6 car of Elliott Butler, he's blinking a little bit. He'll drop back. Shades of the past seasons in ORL, but look at the outside lane. That 6 car dropping out of it could pretty much screw that outside lane.
Yeah, as soon as he backed out, the run and all the energy was lost there. Look at the 24 dipping the tires below the left side yellow line. That is a rule that is in effect from my understanding, Connor. You cannot dive below that yellow line to advance your position. And unlike the 3-wide racing league, I'm fairly certain that rule extends all the way to the checkered.
Yes, it does. Got to be careful. We saw that overhead view of Bowers. He's leading a lane under him down that backstretch. That's a lot of trust he puts in Eric Hutton, especially after he chopped him only a few laps to go. If the 88 wanted to take that space later in this race, I think he'd definitely do it, and that would probably cause the wreck by Bowers chopping him again. The outside lane got the run back. Here comes the 30 of Miller going for the race lead again.
He's going to carry all the momentum into turn number 1, but when you get the momentum entering the corner, you always sort of lose it as you scrub the tires heading off into it. If you get the run onto the back straightaway, that's when you have enough of a run to clear heading into turn number 3, and that looks like that's what the 30 is going to get there with the shove from the 48. But it's not significant enough. The 31 got a better shove from the 2 teammates in behind him. That's the 88 and the 33.
Also the 24 there, Bailey Turner behind them all, and then you got guys scrambled. You got Bryce Calusa on the lead lap, Austin Carpe, Matthew Close battling for the lucky dog together. Elliott Butler at the back of this outside lane. You got Zach Halpern in there as well. Trying to see who else is in there. Liam Sheen also a lap down battling for the lucky dog. So we might see them battle. That could be potentially where the wreck happens. Battling for the lucky dog. Actually, no, Liam is on the lead lap. My apologies. But Close and Carpe definitely aren't. So you got to be careful. You got to watch that lucky dog battle as well, as they're still side by side for the race lead with these 2 teammates.
Yeah, again, I as I've noted a couple times tonight, neither lane seems to be dominant all on its own. It's all about the energies that build. The 88 is being a bit more aggressive, gave a big shot to the 31 there. Now it looks like he's being a bit more protective of that yellow line. He's not drifting up as high as you noted a couple laps ago, so he might have learned his lesson before the lesson was taught.
Careful here. You know, been a lot of shoving the last few laps. You got to watch those tabs here. Make sure you don't blow up too much. Jeff Wright, he's not pushing the 30 as much. Maybe he's getting hot. He's going to give one final big shove to the 30, try to get him clear to get some air for himself, but he has to run for it.
I enjoy the idea of blowing up too much, as if there was a level of blowing up that is okay.
It's quite hard in late racing. It really is. You got to be able to make it blink, but not blink too much. If you blink, it all comes down to numbers. You blink for 8 seconds, you're done. Get out of here.
And what you mean by blinking, for those that aren't aware of it, on the left side of the dashboard here, there is an RPM display, and there is a water temp that is visible to the driver, and as soon as that gets too hot, that will start blinking red, letting the driver know that they are over temperature. The water is boiling inside the radiator system, and that's time to go out and cool off that engine and cool off the water in the system.
And it starts blinking with the oil temps. The first thing to start blinking, it'll start blinking at 284, and that's when it will turn red. It doesn't actually blink in these cars because it's a digital dash. It just turns red, and you got to be careful. Once it gets red, that's pretty much your recognition that yeah, you got to lift. And if you don't lift, you're gonna end up blowing up. So you got to be careful. Got to be wary of that. Control your temps best you can. Push on the straightaways, not so much in the turns, and you should be pretty good. as the 48's trying to perfect that to try to get the 30 in the lead so he doesn't blow up, so he can get some clean air.
Down the back straightaway is at the 48, peeking up to the rear bumper of the 30 of Miller. He's going to give him a shove. There's some lap traffic ahead here, Connor. Whoa, big slide for the 30 car into turn 3.
Ronis tried to get to the middle, couldn't do it. Got 2 more drivers to lap like you were talking about. Jeremiah Vincent, Ryan Carwell, who both got penalties on the first round of stops for too many pit stalls entering or exiting. If they get lapped, that'll leave 18 cars on the lead lap, and only 3 seconds up the road, or Clifton Cockrell, Liddy Trejo would only leave 16 cars on the lead lap.
Interesting note, Connor. Cautions this race, 0. Do we think this is going to go caution-free? That's a heck of an assumption to make, that we could go all the way to the end without a wreck. We've done pretty good so far, but we're not paying out trophies just yet.
I'd be shocked, to be honest. I just don't think, I don't know if it will happen. I really don't see it happening. I think we'll see an aggressive block go wrong at some point. Maybe a wreck on the pit road that comes up onto the track and causes a yellow. We might even see anyone in that second or third pack cause a wreck. You really never know. You got to be watching out, as these lap cars are about 2 by 2 in front of them, so they got to be careful once they get by, and this could be the wreck in itself.
Storming past the start-finish line at 200 miles an hour. Lap traffic up ahead for the race leaders. Brandon Bowers has taken command of this race lately. 8 laps led in the 72 that we've completed.
We're gonna really have to watch out. This could be the wreck we were just talking about. They're still too wide, and this pack doesn't show any signs of going to the top lane, so those 2 lanes are gonna have to navigate to the middle and the high line if they don't move. They're not that much slower than the lead pack, so that might be why they're not going to get out of the way here.
We'll watch from up above to get an aerial bird's eye view of this situation. The 31 of Bowers, the 88 of Hutton, some space between them to allow themselves some time to react to whatever happens ahead. And as you mentioned, it's the 77 of Cabot. He's going to stay far right, but it's the cars ahead of him that are the bigger concern.
He goes high, but these lap cars are going low. Cabot's already about 3 laps down now. All these guys are on because all these guys are on the lead lap. Carwell, Vincent, Trejo, and Cockrell. They still have something to race for. They're going to race for the lucky dog together once they do get lapped, so they have no reason to pull over, but they will go to the outside. Finally, Trejo hit the wall. Now they're going to be too wide. This is going to be big trouble. Well, they're all scrambling. The lead pack's all scrambling. They don't know where to go. Cockrell trying to get back up to the top. Now he's going to go to the bottom. They can only go to the middle. This is not going to work. He's going to try to get up to the top. He's going middle. He's finally going to get back up to the top, but you got to get up to the top earlier than that. You can't be indecisive. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, and the problem is the reason why you can't be indecisive is because then it forces the decision on the drivers in the pack, where they have limited vision and understanding of what's happening in front of them, especially when they're following in behind. Have a look at what Eric Hunt can see out the windshield. Not very much in front of the 31 of Brandon Bowers, so it's sort of on the lap car to stay out of the way here as we roll through side-by-side lap cars and the leaders. But remember that they are still competing in a race, and they still have obligation to compete. So here they are.
They're blocking the middle line here. Calusa's going to have to check up. We're blocking that lead line, racing for that lucky dog. I can't believe they did that, but Carwell and Vincent, they're going to be racing for the lucky dog here, so you got to do, I guess. And look at those Long Tech teammates get out in front of everyone else. This is trouble for Bowers. He's got 4 teammates lined up behind him.
Well, Carwell is going to be buddies with Bryce Calusa here, because they are both winners this season. The 71 won last week at Charlotte, his first time ever, and he did this. He played this right. He was at the front of that pack, so everyone else slowed down the field, and he was able to speed up to collect the lead pack by the time that all got sorted out. So he's actually going to get stuck with the leaders, and everyone else that was running behind him is buried in traffic now.
Going to be a big danger zone. This is the biggest the lead pack's been in a while. Now you got lap cars mixing with the lead lap cars. You got about 2/3 of this lead pack are the lead lap cars, and you got guys racing for the lucky dog and whatnot. So this could get really dicey with a lap car and Carwell leading that second line right now, with Carwell leading it.
Brandon Bowers out up front, the number 31. Then it's Eric Hutton, AJ Stravato, Bailey Turner. The car on the outside, that red number 71 VT Mustang, is not on the lead lap. He is the first car 1 lap down, looking for a caution flag. The 88, big moment through the tri-oval. Maybe looking, maybe loose, but he's got 3 teammates behind him.
I'm honestly surprised when they got clear of Calusa and Carwell's line that those Long Tech, those SBR teammates didn't go high. They were all clear, all 4 of them were, and Brandon Bowers obviously is on a different team. They could have just blown by him, but they chose not to. Not sure why. Maybe it's part of their plan to do it later in the race when the 31 has no time to recover, but it's a bit of an odd strategy in my opinion.
Look at the 26 car on the outside. He's got no help, but he's passing cars on his left. He's got Jeremiah Vincent coming up to join him. That might push that Toyota Camry forward. But Brandon Bowers has been very, very strong out by himself, but you have to wonder if Hutton has been making this easy by staying in line so far.
Like I said, I think he definitely could have gone for the lead and had help from his teammates, but he chose not to. Just riding right now. Can't imagine you're saving fuel too much to make up right now. I think he'd rather just pass him at the end of the race, as we see Carwell trying to get his lap back the hard way with help from Kalusa trying to use him to maybe get himself up into the front for the race lead. It's going to get dicey if we do make it past this final round of stops, but I think Bowers is not in a good spot right now, that's for sure.
Next time by will be 16 laps to go. What is that in minutes? Well, it's 11:14 on the East Coast. By 11:30, this race will be complete, so we're almost done. Look at the 71. He's now back on the lead lap. He'd love a caution right about now. The field behind him would rather not see that.
I don't think anyone else would really see that right now. Carpe is going to get shoved to the outside by the 26 of Halpern. Lap down car with a lead lap car. And can't blame the 26 for doing that. Going to give a big push to the 30. Getting on the left rear of Kalusa. Got to be careful of that. That outside line not formed up at all. And look at those long
Oh, there's a big slide to push from the 26 and the 30. They're going to gather it back up into turn one. That was almost disaster, but Miller's quick hands saved the field behind him.
Not holding that middle line well. Miller's getting a lot of his left rear, not the middle of his bumper, and that's really causing his outside lane to fall back. What I was about to say, those SBR teammates are starting to get clear on that bottom again from that middle line, but look at the run the 20 and the 30 have now.
The driver out front of this pack is not even on the lead lap at the moment. Well, he is on the lead lap. He's on the tail end of it. Here comes Kalusa with a run to the outside. The 6 car drops into the bottom behind the trio of Lawn Tech cars, and Miller now pushing Kalusa to the front.
Takes the lead. He has the lead already, and that's not good for Carwell. Well, it's good, all right for Carwell, I guess, because he gets the lucky dog. It's not good for Jeremiah Vincent and Austin Carpe, who are battling for the lucky dog right now. Vincent would have had it if Carwell stayed on the tail end, but now put that 20 to the race lead. Now the 30 is going to go for help from Halpern, who almost just turned the 30.
Miller with a big shove from that Camry in third. Now make it second as they're going to rocket to the top spots on the back straightaway. Are they going to drop to the inside? The 26 jukes left. He's there and gets underneath the 30. What a move by Halpern.
Trail, I think the 30 was comfortable with the 26 pushing him, but the 30 is going to be kind of stuck up there. Travato and Bailey Turner, those Long Tech teammates, are going to pit this time. Is that trouble for the 30? Does he try to get down? Halpern's going to pit this time. Kalusa stays out. No, yes, he does.
That was slick driving. Oh, he's in too hot, though.
By a mile. He's going to spin it right in front of a Long Tech teammates. He's able to save it, but definitely a big penalty there, as only those 4 Long Tech teammates came down. We'll see if that works out for them. It's a much smaller pack to pit with. I think it's going to work.
I was going to say that Halpern's piece of driving was the best I'd seen all day to get to the lead and then pit right in front of the group of teammates, but he threw it all away there on pit entry. Now the pack on the back straight, they're going to head for their final pit stop of the race at probably 13 or 12 to go. We'll see that horde of drivers come to pit lane, and then you're done, and it's all about who can get back to the checkers first.
I see more pit stops here, and maybe we won't. We'll see how far these guys stretch it. We'll see how much time those SBR Long Tech teammates can go to the end, maybe catch up. Lead pack, no takers this time. Kalusa continues to lead with Carwell, the first driver, lap down behind him, and then it's teammates Bowers and Miller battling for that 3rd spot, and Vincent's trying to push Miller up there just so he can get by Carwell for that lucky dog spot. Matthew closed there as well for the same reason.
At Talladega, 13 laps to go. Some of our front runners have pit. The rest, we assume, all have to come. Unless someone's been playing a sneaky strategy, but I'm fairly certain everyone's going to have to come hit pit lane.
Here comes trying to go middle. He almost made it go down there, but I think he's gonna go high right now. I don't know what that was about, but he's going to get out of the way. I think he realized that wasn't going to work. He's just going to get out of the way. Hronis is going to be the next driver to pit in. We've talked about how bad his fuel mileage is, and once again, pitting all by himself.
Hronis drops through the field with 12 laps to go. We'll see how formed up the teammates are pretty nicely. It took them a little bit too long perhaps to get lined back up like this, but now they should be making pretty decent speed as the front 9 drivers still have yet to make a pit stop.
They got separated from Eric Hutton. I don't know if Hutton's in front of him or maybe lost a lap and all of that, but he lost his teammate, so he only got Bailey Turner, Jeff Wright, and Stravato with each other, but 3 cars might be better than 4. We don't know yet. Calusa still continues to lead this line. And Matthew Close, he's going for the lucky dog, but he's also helping his teammate Jeremy Miller on that outside right now.
Eric Hutton penalty on the pit lane. 71-second pit stop. That'll do it. He's out of the race.
Big. That's another driver out of it. We got 1 out with Cabot. Now we're down to only 3 of those guys right now. So I think they'll still be fine, but less help is not good.
11 laps to go now. The counter is ticking down. Do you think they'll be coming with 10 to go? That seems like a nice round number to finish this off.
I think they're trying to take the least amount of fuel possible. Close got on the left rear of Miller. Got to be careful of that, but I think they're going to stretch his fuel until it's sputtering down the pit lane, so you can take the least amount of fuel possible, get off the pit road in front of everyone else. So we might see a lot of drivers get spread out once the last group of drivers does pit. Miller clears down to the bottom, thanks to the help from his teammate, who's battling for that lucky dog with Carlisle.
Can we go 10 more laps at Talladega under green flag conditions without seeing a caution flag? I don't think that's possible. No. I've never seen it happen, but there's still the potential. We are still a 0 caution race as of lap number 85 of 94.
I've seen it happen at NIS. I even saw it happen at Daytona, but that's with pro drivers in a first split race. ORL, you usually get a accidental caution here and there, but these guys have done so well. We've had many incidents. The one with Ortega and Alex Bell. Also had Miller get sideways here and there. It's been really surprising to see everyone go so far into this run. Also, still battle from a lucky dog to look at, too. The 92 of Matthew Close has it for the time being.
There are only 4 drivers with an I rating of under 2,500 in this event. That just goes to show you the overall strength of the driving here in Outsider Racing League. Through 3 and 4, Miller leads the way in that number 30. The green number indicates that he is eligible for a cash bonus if they finish this race under green flag conditions.
We didn't even talk about that. There's still money on the line here. We got 2 guys up there with a chance at it. Calusa there as well. I think Brandon Bauer is also the same for him, so we got a big payday coming to someone, in my opinion. Miller's looking good right now. I'm going to try to look at those SBR, those Long Tech teammates. Last time the leader, Miller, ran a 48.59. Those Long Tech teammates last time by ran 48.2s and 48.3s. Angelo Horonis actually got in line with them. That's really going to help Horonis now that I think about it, being with those guys.
So the 29 car teamed up with him. You're right, it's going to overcome. He must have had a pretty decent pit stop to stay with them. And we'll see if they're lapping 2 or 3, maybe even a half a second ahead of everyone else in terms of lap time, then they're going to be ahead of this group after the pit stop sequence. Here they come. At least some of them are going to peel off. Brandon Bowers will be one. Liam Sheen's going to come as well.
Let's see, we got Jonathan Hernandez as well, Clifton Cockrell, and Eddie Trejo, who are lap down cars. So we'll see how this works for these 4 right now. 4 lead lap, 2 lap down. I think the rest of the field has to come down next time by. I can't imagine they can go too much longer. This is 8 laps to go this time by. Next time will be 7. I can't imagine we're going to see anyone stretch it even farther.
How frustrating is it for drivers like the 71 of Ryan Carwile or Austin Carpe or even Eric Hutton to be a lap down and be in what has been largely a caution-free race at Talladega? You always want a chance to go again, get a reset, but we have not had that here tonight.
The reason is that everyone's still running, even though we got a lot of drivers a lap down. Rich Ortega just pretty much ended his race. He's only the 2nd driver to call it a day. Calusa pits from the lead. Elliott Butler trying to pit. He is in way too hot. They're almost going to door.
Oh, there goes the 6.
And Butler going to save it. They're going to lose time. Lakatos came in and Caleb Weekly as well. Calusa's not happy on the radio here, as those 4 are going to lose a bit of time as well. Tim Downey had to back into his pit stall. I'm trying to see where the Long Tech teammates came out in regards to that pack that just pit. They're passing Liam Sheen right now. They're going to get at the Brandon Bowers, Hernandez, and Miller in a while, and they are really formed up there. Zach Halpern as well, even though he's a lap down.
Watch Liam Sheen here. If he can tack on to the back of this group, I think he might make these final 5 or 6 laps very exciting. This time through 7 laps to go. Look at Sheen's actually staying with them, so it's going to be a 6-car, make that a 7-car grouping, as the rest of the field leaves the pit lane here, Connor, but they're all going to get past very quickly. So that's going to move the Long Tech team as well as Sheen, Ronis, and the 26 on by, and that will put them all to the top spots.
This is exactly what we saw in the 3-wide race.
Miller,
87 cars. Miller getting pushed from Hernandez right now. We saw this happen.
Whoa, the 33 sideways. Oh, he gathers it back up. Great save by the 33 Estravado.
You can't be doing that. You still got a race to win. You're coming to 6 laps to go this time by, and they still have a way faster pace than those top 4 right now. I was about to say, we saw this in the 3-wide race. Team AV, they undercut the rest of the field, and they were able to get a big lead. They were able to get to the front of that main pack. It didn't end up in a win for them, remember. They led to the end of that race, but they lost it to Race Clark. This could be the same situation happening here, as Zach Floyd's going to get in the way of Alex Bell here, as only those top 2, Miller and Hernandez, can clear that lap traffic, as we are going to get really dicey here, as we got lap traffic still mixing with the lead pack, as Jeff Wright leads that second pack with his teammates Travato and Turner behind him.
Well, that big bobble really messed up the Lawn Tech quartet, and they've all gotten kind of confused and reconfigured here. The 55 picked up. Oh, big moment there as one car
Wagner
jukes to the right. That was Wagner. He'll move over. And the front 4 or 5, they're not very well sorted, but with the checkup that the Lawn Tech team had to do, they really kind of killed the momentum for an entire lap. So they've got some work to do here with 5 laps to go from Talladega. 90 laps clean, not a single crash to speak of.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see it. 94 laps. You're going to get down to the wire. These guys are going to be in the chase, racing for a win. It's going to get dirty. I don't see it going to the very end. And it's a lot of work to get back up to that pack of 5, but they are there already as they lap Adam Cabot. Here comes those Lawn Tech teammates. Are you going to clog 3 lines at once? Hernandez went for the lead with Zach Floyd, his teammate, a lap down helping him. He's going to get it. Miller and Bowers on their own. Here come those Lawn Tech teammates. Bell trying to block. He's a lap down, but he's still blocking those teammates. Going to get back down now. Can those teammates block 2 lanes at once?
They're coming. The 48, 33, and 24 lined up astern. 5 laps to go, coming to 4. Bell's going to drop out of the lead to the bottom as the rest of the field comes on through. Bell on the apron. That's a scary spot to be.
Not going to work. He's going to get back down. Miller's going to have to shoot middle. No, he doesn't. Big bump to the 42. Big stack up there, and those SBR teammates are going to be long gone, but they're not clear yet.
1, 2, 3. Green, green, green for the Lawn Tech teammates up on the top side of the racetrack. The 1 and the 42 teammates on the bottom. The 42 was a lap down, helping his lead lap teammate Miller has got nowhere to go.
I can't imagine he's too happy with a lap car hurting his chances at a win here, but at the end of the day, he's a teammate to the 1. He's going to do anything he can to get his teammate a win. Hernandez never won in this series. How big would it be to start his chase hopes with a win here at Dega? Miller trying to get the 42 clear contact right up the track. Miller's clear if he wants to make a move, trying to bring his teammate Bowers with him.
3 laps to go this time through, and there they go. The 48's going to sweep to the right. The 30 gets sucker hold middle, 3 wide. Remember, the drivers in the gold on the ticker are your chase competitors. 3 to go from Talladega.
I can't believe they couldn't go with Jeff Wright. He was just too far back. Stravato's going to lead that line, and Wright's going to go to the back. Now you only got 2 Lawn Tech teammates leading that lead line, as he got the second place battle behind a lead lap car. The 42 is just blocking for him like Dale Sr. in the 500.
Liam Sheen is there as well in the 55. The 1 car's going to juke to the right. The 30's going to go middle. There they go.
Wow. I can't believe he made that stick. Here comes Miller to get the race lead. The 42 just going to stop and get out of the way in the grass. Now that puts 2 more teammates in the lead, Miller and Bowers, as the 1 starts to lead that middle line, coming to 2 to go.
If they can make it another 3 miles, they will go caution-free at Talladega, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet. 2 2/3 miles until we see the white flag. Miller is out front. Hernandez on the high side with 2 Lawn Tech teammates paired up behind him. They want to go middle, but they can't.
4 to go. We'll see if anyone's gonna try 3 wide. I don't think there's enough drivers in this pack to go for a 3 wide move. I wouldn't be surprised if Stravato and Turner try to dump Hernandez, but I think their only option is to push him as hard as they can. And I think the 30 is not going to be denied today.
Here we go, half a lap until the white flag. Will we stay green tonight in the Lawn Tech 250 from Talladega?
Elliott Butler's going to start that high line. He's got help from Halpern. Remember, Halpern pushed Miller to the front at the end at the halfway bonus. We'll see if he can do it with the 6 again. Stravato wants to get up. I think Turner does as well. They're not going to do it yet. Coming to the white flag.
Can't get there. The Turner car couldn't get up the top. Neither can the 88 of Hutton. The 1 car still has the opportunity to do it. White flag for Jeremy Miller, and dollars on the line with the green number across the side. We are caution-free at Talladega. 1 lap to go from Talladega.
Caution free, but definitely not going to be wreck free. Only 2 drivers on that top lane. Tandems work better than a line at this stage. I think Butler and Halpern might be a surprise here. Hernandez going to get the run. Stravato's going to go to the high line. Hernandez can't block it. Well, look at this outside line. Look at the run they're going to get, but the 30 of Miller is still the leader. They're going to wreck. Butler saves it. Halpern gets back to the bottom. He doors someone there. He doored Hutton. That's going to ruin that top lane's run. Here comes Hernandez and Miller.
3 wide, 3 abreast as they come through turns 3 and 4. Miller out front. The one car of Hernandez leading the outside groove. Bailey Turner wants to give him a shove. Bowers wants a shot at the win. Checkered flag waving here at Talladega. Coming to the line.
Hernandez is going to get him here. He's got the big run. The 31 tries to go to the middle. Hernandez has the run. I think he's going to get him at the line. Jonathan Hernandez, I think, might have gotten him.
He did.
Yes, he did. 4/1000ths of a second. Jonathan Hernandez is a winner in Outsiders Racing League.
And a crash in turn 1. But a caution-free race and a first-time winner by 5/1000ths of a second. Jonathan Hernandez wins an absolute scorcher of a race at Talladega.
I can't believe Miller didn't try to door him or anything like that. I can't believe Hernandez was able to get in front of. Yep, he got the run at the perfect time. He didn't have a run that whole last 3 laps when Miller got the lead, but he timed it absolutely perfectly.
And as is customary with first-time winners, we will show you the replay after we watch the celebration of a first-time winner, and what a way to start off the chase for this young man.
The big factor in all that was his teammate Zach Floyd being a lap down. A lot of people didn't like him doing that, but he was pushing his teammate best he could, and he didn't get the push to Hernandez to the win, but he kept him up there as long as he could, and he really helped fend off those Lawn Tech teammates at the very end.
9th to 1st. Burnouts and celebrations. He led only 3 of the 94 laps tonight. And you have to remember his teammate, the 42 of Zach Floyd, he finished 24th, 2 laps down, bailing out of a tough situation that could have wrecked the entire field coming to the white flag. Hernandez is a winner, and he gets clobbered by somebody sliding across the line there.
I think it was Floyd. Yeah, that was definitely Zach Floyd, his teammate. He was up front all the time. He never showed that speed to get that race win. He was up there a little bit, but he got the run at the perfect time, and he barely got that win. That was such a tight finish.
We'll go back and look at it here in just a moment, but just want to let Jonathan soak it up just a bit. I'm sure he'll be very excited to talk to us. It is an opportunity to talk on SimTV if you finish generally in the top 3, and that's hard to do in a field this competitive. Here is a look at your race results. How about that margin of victory? Look at this. We have 4 drivers within a 1/10 of a second.
Amazing. That might be one of the closest finish, if not maybe the closest finish in Oral. We'll have to check that. Maybe I'll check that, but very close finish. That's a big heartbreaker for Miller. I thought he had it, but he just didn't get the run when he needed it. And Jeff Wright, that's going to be disappointing. At the front the whole race. Same for Halpert and Alex Bell. They are not even in the top 10.
Well, Jeff Wright will be heading to Sonoma next week. That is a race that he has won in the past. Let's go back and have a look at the finish of that race. That was absolutely unbelievable. I don't think it's a rare opportunity that you get to call races as good as that, Connor. Let's go back and have a look as they came through 3 and 4 here. This is what happened at the end of this race.
33 there. Stravado had no choice but to push that one. He couldn't go middle. There was nothing he could do. He finally, that's actually Bailey Turner, excuse me, gets the bump right there. That's the run. That was the push for the win there. And Bowers gets a bump from Sheen. Sheen pushes him up the track, gets those teammates not sorted out as well, and that's all the one needed to get that finish. Turner tried to get to the outside, but it was too late.
He gave it a run, came to the driver's right area, and across the line. That is very, very cool to see.
If Turner did that earlier, if he did that maybe a few seconds earlier, the 30 definitely wins that race, but just wasn't enough for the 30 to get back in front of the one. It's pretty much that close. That is just unbelievable. 3 wide at the line.
Now we have a photo finish camera here, and I wish I could go frame by frame, but we'll do this again to get a better look at this here. But as they come to the start-finish line, Connor, Hernandez by 0.005 of a second. I don't have the closest finish on hand on SimTV, but I would argue that this is probably one of the closest ones that we've seen. And I would actually like to get this frame by frame. So give me one moment, and we can line that up and get a look at what that looks like at the start-finish line. How about where's my photo finish camera? How about that 0.005 of a second for Hernandez?
Man, that is close right there. That is huge for his chase hopes too. That might put him in the points lead for all we know. We don't know any of that right now, but that is huge, a huge start to his run for sure.
One last quick look at the results before we cut to break momentarily. We'll bring Hernandez, Miller, and Turner in to talk about the post-race here. All of them separated by under 0.05 of a second, which is just phenomenal stuff. We'll be back in just one moment to debrief from Talladega and talk to your first-time race winner, Jonathan Hernandez. Stay with us. We'll be right back. back live here on Sim TV for the post-race at Talladega Superspeedway. A caution-free 94-lap race with the winning margin of 5 thousandths of a second. And the third-place driver, Bailey Turner, was back 40 thousandths of a second from the overall race win. Bailey gave it one last lunge there at the end to get to the checkered. Couldn't quite do it, but a very strong run to the chase and the playoffs for you in that 24.
Yeah, today was all really about points for me. You never know with these races how they go. You could be taken out 5 laps in or whatever. So I just tried to sit there and work out a plan with my teammates, and we did all we could. I had my buddy AJ pushing me there at the halfway point to collect the points. And after that, we just tried to pit early, and we were hoping it was going to be the right move to short pit those guys. Probably wasn't, but we just wanted to avoid, any pit road wrecks, things like that. So we did what we could there, and then, man, I was trying to push the teammates through, and then Miller forced himself into the middle 3 wide and shuffled our other teammate out. And then me and AJ were just doing everything we could right there to try to make something happen, but we were overheating. And once AJ made the move, I had, got my car cooled down just a little bit, and I just gave Jonathan the shove of a lifetime, it looked like. And I tried to give him a big enough shove, and then tried to move out at the last second, hoping him and Miller would make contact or shuffle each other up the track or something. And looked like it made for a good photo finish, though.
It was a spectacular finish. Bailey Turner 8th to 3rd. We head to your home track next week. That'll be at Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma, California. Looking forward to that one. That seems like a fun place for you to go.
Yeah, today was all about just managing the points. So next week, you're going out there, and there's a lot of good guys here that are good road racers. But yeah, home track, you hope you can put up or shut up there. And, I actually prefer this layout over, I know other people don't, but I actually prefer this layout over the old one. So I'm hoping that actually translates into, another top 3 run and just keeping those points alive for the playoffs.
All right, Bailey Turner comes home 3rd tonight, 40 thousandths away from a win at Talladega. Bailey, thanks for talking to us. Good luck to you next week at Sonoma.
Thank you.
Moving on now to Jeremy Miller. Missed out on some dollars and a trophy by 5 1/1000ths of a second. Jeremy, take us back through that closing lap sequence. You had the lead, seemed like it was all locked down, and in the last mile or two is when things started to slip away. Then the last 50 meters, you had to start thinking, uh-oh, did I actually win this race? And I bet you had your eyes glued to that relative screen at the end. Take us through that final lap.
You're trying to make me cry over here. I actually forgot I was even racing for the money, to be honest with you. I was just thinking win, win, win. This is gonna sound absolutely mind-boggling coming out of my mouth, but I was thinking there out of 4, I can block him and I win the race where I can stay on the bottom and I finish 1st or 2nd. And I made the conservative choice for once in my damn career, and missed out on it just barely. Liam getting into my teammate Bowers there messed up our momentum just enough where Jonathan edged me out, but I'm happy for him. It was a good race, and definitely will take a 2nd.
Well, I know it was a heartbreaker for you today, Jeremy, but good luck to you next week at Sonoma. That's a tricky racetrack. Good luck to you out there, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Moving on to Jonathan Hernandez, a first-time winner here in the Outsider Racing League. Jonathan, what a phenomenal end of a day. You led 3 laps today with a lot of help from your teammate in the closing moments. You charged to the front and then won this race by 5 thousandths of a second, 2 feet at 200 miles an hour. Take us through your thoughts and that final lap from your perspective out your windshield.
First of all, I'm still catching my breath from that finish. I was holding my breath pretty much the final 4 or 5 laps. I don't know if we're gonna junk it pretty big or not, but I'm still surprised I got it. I'm pretty sure Jeremy got it still, but man, we spent the entire race, just riding at the back. That was the plan to begin with. If we didn't start towards the front, the objective was to ride around the back most of the race, see if we could avoid trouble, and we did. And so, once the Reggie almost spun out, he saved it, and that put me in position to get back to the front. And I just rode around there, tried to stick up there as much as I could. But that final stop, the pit crew killed it right there, because I was able to time it perfectly, and me and Jeremy got out to about 4-second lead to the Sad Boys guys, and it was just an amazing run right there at the finish. I gotta give credits right there to my teammate Zach, and of course Bailey and AJ. They pushed me as hard as they could, and I don't think I would have got that win without that last push from Bailey.
I mean, Talladega is a hard place to win. We went caution-free tonight. Do you think that kind of contributed to the win tonight? Is not having any of your strategy sort of interrupted by any of this, or do you think that maybe having some cautions would have been a good mental reset for everybody?
Well, of course, with it being Talladega, I'm pretty sure everyone comes in with about 4 or 5 different strategies for different scenarios. And, you know, I was expecting at least one caution towards the end of the race. I thought we almost had it. Luckily, we didn't. So, of course, that altered, especially that last pit stop when everyone pits. Do you short pit, try to get the advantage, or do you wait towards the end and see if you could top off last minute and get the, hopefully get the advantage? Luckily, you know, with the race going free and the pack was so spread out, it opened doors that allowed me to make moves that I probably wouldn't have made if we were all bunched up, all 30 of us. And I think, you know, if there was like a late race caution, green, white, checkered, of course, different outcome. Everyone would be bunched up, pretty much without a doubt, huge wreck. But with it going green, I think it played perfectly into, you know, my hands. And Zach, he was able to line up perfectly right behind me. And my other teammate, Corey, right there, he was able to pretty much push me right there when I was running around the back. He set me up in perfect position for pit road, and Zach helped me set up out of pit road. And it's just stressful when it goes caution free, I will say, because your mind's playing, oh, are they going to wreck here? Are they going to wreck there? Are they going to wreck in front of me, next to me? And of course, everything runs through your mind, especially in the closing laps. And got that out of the way, got the win finally.
Finally got the win. Jonathan, thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Congratulations on the victory. Good luck to you next week at Sonoma, and you're going to be in a pretty good spot in the chase here with that victory and all those points that come with it. So good luck to you at Sonoma next week.
Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, we're going to look forward to it, close out these final few races, hopefully in strong performances, see if we keep up the momentum, and heads up for Sonoma. We're gonna.
We'll see you. Have a great night, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Connor, wrapping up Talladega here, a chaotic night as it always is, but for a different reason tonight. No crashes of note other than some car damage here and there. And we ended the race with everybody pointed the right direction and a first-time winner. So by all means, that was a massive success. But what a great race and what a great plate package this is, allowing moves and allowing sort of an equalization of those inside and outside grooves. I'm really, really happy with how this race went tonight. But next week we head to road course at Sonoma. That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, a whole different ballgame as well, and I love how this package is. I remember the first time I got onto iRacing, sort of had that package where you got a bubble of air between the cars and it just wasn't fun at all. Now we got a fun package. You can be racy, you can go 3 wide, maybe 4 wide if you have a good group of drivers. I think we probably saw 4 wide a few times on that last lap, and we saw some great racing. That if Miller was able to win that, even though Miller didn't win that race, that move down the backstretch, 3 to go through the middle when Hernandez threw a block, that's still the move of the race in my opinion. That was amazing. It didn't work out in the end, but he got good points, and Hernandez, like we were talking about, a first-time winner, a chase driver as well. Not the chase driver we expected to win. He's going to be up there in the points. That's going to help going into Sonoma, but we're definitely going to be getting a bit more back to normal at Sonoma. I expect Jeff Wright to be up there at the front almost every single lap, but Stravado's fast as well. I think we're going to see the main championship contenders get back to the front next week.
Road course racing in wine country, Sonoma, California, next week, 10/9 Central on Sim TV. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Monday night for the 3 Wide Racing League season finale at Homestead.